So, what does it really take to conquer Japan's largest amusement park in just one day? Well, today we're going to break down one family's absolutely epic adventure at Greenland. This place is so huge, it literally has its own ski lifts to get around. We're going to uncover their whole strategy, how they tackled the biggest rides, dealt with some crazy curveballs, and capped it all off with a fireworks show of massive proportions. And this quote right here, it pretty much sums up the whole story. It says, "We got caught in a heavy downpour, but even though we were soaked, we had a blast all day long." And that's perfect, right? It shows this wasn't about having a perfect day. It was about having an amazing day, even when things like, the weather, totally go sideways. All right, so the goal was simple. Conquer Greenland. Get there early, stay till the very end, and ride absolutely as much as possible. Plus, they had a special mission. Check out 2 brand new attractions that had just opened. The stage was definitely set for a legendary day. Okay, first things first, let's talk strategy number 1, tickets. Look, you can pay per ride, but the advice from this trip is crystal clear. Get the free pass. As you can see from the prices, if you're planning a full day, just a couple of the big ticket rides would cost you more than the pass itself. It's pretty much a no-brainer. So, with those all-important passes secured, it was time for the main event. And first on the list, the legendary, scream-inducing thrill rides that Greenland is famous for. Let's get right into the action. They kicked things off with an absolute monster of a ride, Neo. This is one of those hanging coasters where the track is above your head. That means your feet are just dangling free as you get whipped through all the loops and turns. It creates this wild, terrifying feeling of flight, and man, it is an iconic part of the Greenland skyline. Now, this is what I find so cool. The source blog describes Neo as a bukkore attraction, which you could translate as an insanely broken attraction. It's modern Japanese slang, kind of like in gaming when you say a character is just overpowered or OP. It's not a bad thing. It's the highest possible compliment, meaning the ride is so intense it feels like it's defying the laws of physics. After surviving NIO, the next stop was Starflyer Goku. And believe me, this is not your local carnival swing ride. We're talking about being lifted hundreds of feet into the air for this incredible, peaceful, spinning view of the whole park right before that little voice in your head starts whispering, "Wow, we are really, really high up." And that's the key, right? Starflyer Goku is just as much about that incredible view as it is about the thrill. From the very top, you can finally get a real sense of the sheer scale of Greenland, spotting all the different zones and roller coasters. It's honestly the best way to get the lay of the land. And speaking of the lay of the land, here is an amazing pro tip from this trip. Greenland is huge, and it's built across these big, hilly valleys. So instead of wearing yourself out walking up and down all day, you can use the park's ski lift-style transporters to just glide from one section to the next. So smart, right? It's a total game changer for your energy levels. So with a few of the classic rides already checked off the list, the mission shifted to its main objective, trying out the 2 new attractions. But right when they were hitting their stride, Mother Nature decided to throw a major curveball. So these were the 2 big targets, and they represent a real choice. On one hand, you have Wave Swinger GURUGURU, which is a classic ride made bigger and better with these new 2-person seats. And on the other, there's Golden Hunter, a totally different, interactive adventure where you're solving puzzles in some ancient ruins. So do you go for the familiar thrill or the brand new adventure? And then this happened. Around 2 in the afternoon, the sky just opened up. But here's the brilliant part. Instead of letting it ruin the day, they made a strategic retreat to a huge covered area called the Rainbow Dome. They used the downpour as the perfect excuse to sit down, break out the bento boxes they'd packed, and just have lunch while they waited for the storm to pass. As the rain finally cleared and the sun started to set, the entire vibe of Greenland just changed. The daytime fun started to fade, making way for a completely different kind of magic. This is where the park's personality completely flips. Those same rides that were all about speed and thrills during the day, like the dinosaur coaster, they become these beautiful, glowing skeletons of light against the night sky. The whole park transforms from a place of kinetic energy into one of pure visual wonder. And the unique fun keeps going after dark. They checked out the Doron Bulyoin Haunted Hospital and found this fantastic little secret. As you go through, your fear level is actually being measured. If you're scared enough by the end, a machine diagnoses you and prints out a prescription, which is really a little packet of candy. But everything, the rides, the rain, the glowing lights, it was all leading up to one massive, breathtaking grand finale. The whole day was actually planned around being there for this very event. So let's just put the scale of this finale into perspective. We're not talking a few sparklers here. We are talking about 10,000 fireworks. And get this, all 10,000 of them are launched in a non-stop 30-minute sensory overload of light and sound. That's not just a show, that is an absolute spectacle. You can just imagine the intensity. And in the end, this show, the Hanabi Monogatari, it wasn't just an ending. It was the emotional climax of the whole adventure, an experience they described as genuinely moving and the absolute perfect reward for a day spent conquering the park. So, after that epic day, what can we all take away from it? Let's quickly recap the most important strategies for anyone out there who's planning their own visit to Greenland. All right, here are the 4 golden rules we learned. 1, get the free pass. It's the foundation of a marathon day, seriously. 2, pack a bento. It turned a rain delay from a frustrating problem into a perfectly timed lunch break. 3, use the park's lifts. Save your legs for waiting in line for rides, not for climbing hills. And 4, be ready for anything. Because as we saw, even a massive downpour can't stop the fun if you're prepared for it. So after breaking down everything from that insanely broken NIO coaster to the dazzling fireworks, the final question is for you. If you were there, what would be the very first attraction you'd run to? That's all for this one. We'll see you next time.